Ladies and gentlemen, joining me on the line, Robin Taylor Zander. Hello, sir. How are we today?
Excellent. Thanks for having me. How are you doing?
Well, we just kind of went over that off the air here, so we'll just leave that there. Hey, Robin, you got a new album out, and I think this is really cool because this is one of the times where you did pretty much everything on it, correct?
Yes, that's right. Except for horns, cello, and harp, it's all me.
Why'd you draw the line at horns, cello, and harp? Didn't have
Well,
time to...
I just don't know how. I'm not that skilled.
Oh, that's
pretty much.
Hey, Robin, go back to the beginning of this album. When you're getting ready to do something like this and you're thinking about, hey, I'm going to do all the parts on it. How's that kind of come up? Is it just, I want to do it? Is it, I think this would be best? What's the starting phase of that?
Well, it's a lot cheaper, and you don't have to hire musicians to play parts that you already know how to play on that instrument. So there was that, and but I mean, other than that, I just love playing the drums. I love playing guitar and all the bass and piano, and I've been doing it all my life. So I figured, why not take a stab at it?
That's very cool. Robin Taylor Zander on the line with me. So the new album, The Distance, is out. Was released back in April. If you're going to tell someone something about this album and go, this is why you should listen, this sums up the whole thing, what would that be?
Well, you can hear my influences on the record, and if you're into bands like the Beatles or the Kinks or the Who and the Rolling Stones, Cheap Trick, if you like that stuff, that's what I grew up on. So basically, strong melodies and catchy choruses. They're all throughout this record, and I'm just excited for people who like that kind of melodic music to get turned on to this.
No, absolutely. And I was trying to, because I imagine you've been bombarded with the whole dad Cheap Trick stuff, so I was trying to hold that off. But your dad, Robin Zander.
Yes.
And you played with Cheap Trick.
Yes.
Now, when you got done with this, when you played it for him, was there dad moments with it or more music industry moments where he's listening to it as a dad or, I don't know about that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, well, those lines kind of get blurred because, I grew up talking music with my dad because he's a musician. So
yes.
It's kind of normal to talk in terms of musicality or let's say, for instance, what the order of the songs are on the record. I can have a dad moment and a musician's moment with him at the same time. And it's pretty unique, to get someone who has perspective, who, was signed to a record deal when he was 23 and, grew up in that industry. I'm able to take, the good and bad from that and learn from it. So definitely helpful to have that on my side.
Was there a moment that you were like, man, this is going to be a total dad moment, like you were waiting for him to react a certain way?
Yeah, for sure. I asked him to sing on one of the songs, so that was kind of great, And he was like, yeah, I'll do the background parts, but nothing in the front. He always wants to be in the background if he's on other people's records. So we had a good moment there, but he loves all the music on the record. He's heard a lot of these songs before they were put out. Obviously, I've shown him the demos and what they sounded like in my head. So we had some good moments for sure.
All right. So on the other side of that coin, did you have the music industry moment with him?
Oh yeah. I mean, he first said, where are we putting this out on? Which label? Where are we taking this? How are we putting this out to the masses? We had a long conversation about that, and actually, I was able to, through my dad, meet Jack Douglas, who recorded the first Cheap Trick record, and he's known for doing a lot of stuff, like the first 4 records with Aerosmith. He produced, he did Double Fantasy, John Lennon. So he's been in the industry, and he mixed and mastered the record. And
very cool.
When we were trying to figure out where to put it out, my dad suggested, why don't we put it out through Jack's label and see if he would be interested in doing that? And he said, definitely. And so now I'm signed onto his record label, Confidential. My dad had a little bit of a, guiding force when it came to music industry stuff on this record.
Very cool stuff. Robin Taylor Zander on the line with me talking about the new album, The Distance. It is out now. We'll have the links at the bottom of the page. What's your moment in this one that it was like, this is what makes this album special?
There's a lot of songs that are special on there that I've been holding on to for a while. I'd say I used to live in Nashville. I've lived back home in Florida now, but when I was living in Nashville, I met a lot of songwriters that kind of inspired me to branch out and do different genres. There's a couple country sounding songs on the record. There's pop, there's rock. There's a little bit folk, a little bit of everything on this record. And, if I hadn't moved to Nashville, I probably wouldn't have attempted to do those different genres. So,
Okay.
There's a couple songs and moments like a song called In Front of Me, the first single, High and Low, the song title track, The Distance. Those songs are pretty special to me just because of how they turned out on the record. They sound nothing like the demos that I had at home, and they just sounded better, as time went on.
Yeah. Is there I'm trying to figure out how to word this correctly. When you're starting an album, you probably write, a million songs or have songs come your way, and some of them fit and some of them don't. Is there a tone that you try and stick to as much as possible with a certain album, or is it just, hey, I like this song, let's put this one on there, this one makes sense, that sort of thing?
Yeah, quite simply the latter. Whatever comes up and makes sense in the moment is what I go for. I wasn't really going for an overarching kind of tone or theme on this. It just turned out that way, and I think a lot of that has to do with how we recorded it and where we recorded it. Every song was recorded in a house in upstate New York with me and an engineer, and that's it, pretty much. So it's really bare bones, me, walking around a studio, recording the drums and hopping over to the piano, and you can hear that in the production. It's very, very upfront mix-wise. You can really hear that it was done with, a little bit of love, and I think that it comes across.
I just always think that about albums when you hear it, is it, and I think it's probably different for everybody if I was to, bet money on it, but it seems like, sometimes it is just kind of that scatter, hey, let's grab this song, or it's like, well, that doesn't fit the tone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I am a songwriter by trade. I work on it every day. So, while we were recording even, we switched out some songs for something that was brand new that I thought would fit well with these other tunes. So whatever happened, like I said, in the moment was what we went with. We weren't really rigid with how we put the songs together. We were kind of fluid with that.
As a songwriter, is it more spur of the moment inspiration, or is it thought out lyrics for you?
Lyric wise, it's very thought out.
Okay.
And then music wise, it's very spur of the moment. So for instance, most of these songs were written music first, lyrics second. And the music is what comes easiest for me.
Okay.
The lyrics are what are more difficult, and I labor over because they're always going to be printed till the end of time. So, it's kind of nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
You want to get all your grammar right, remember your schooling, and like things like that. I respect lyricists like Bob Dylan, and I respect John Lennon, and Paul McCartney and George Harrison. I respect Ray Davies and all the great lyricists from the 60s and 70s and onwards. So I kind of just want to, pay homage to them and do my best when it comes to lyrics. So I'll labor over those more than the music.
Robin Taylor Zander on the line with me right now, talking about the new album, The Distance, and a whole bunch of other stuff. When you get stuck on a lyric or a song, what does Robin Taylor Zander do?
Read a newspaper or pick up the dictionary or... read, I don't know, go to the library and, or take a walk outside. I don't know. It depends, what kind of mood are you in? I do get stuck a lot. And when I do, those are the things I do. I kind of just get away from it or go searching for it, either or, it depends.
Yeah. I always think that's kind of interesting because I think, and this will sound kind of cliche, but I think people forget you're human at the end of the day, and it's like, okay, what do you do when you're stuck on a problem? I think that's always kind of the interesting question to ask.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I take interest in that with the artists that I listen to. I've read books on, how, Jimi Hendrix or, the Stones and the Beatles would go into a studio and lock themselves away and come out with something great, but it's never the same formula. Some people work differently than others, and so I kind of try to take the best of both worlds.
What do you do outside of music, Robin?
It takes up a lot of my time. I tour as well as record, so when I'm not doing that, I'm home. I live in Florida. I love to play golf.
Really?
Yeah, I like to go to the beach. I like to do normal things. Um, and but I really I'm gone a lot. So when I'm gone, I'm always on the road, either on a bus or on planes and
Yeah.
hotels. So, you try to get your home stuff in while you can while you're home.
Favorite club in your bag?
Favorite club?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
five wood.
five
Five
wood?
wood. Yeah. Yeah, because listen, you can hit it off the tee if you need to, as a little safety tee shot, and then you can, if you got the wind coming in and you want to hit something low and run it up the green, hit a five wood.
There are so many people that go the 10 cup route and go 7-iron.
Well, it's if you like your irons, I like my woods, but that's the difference between if you do the two club bag challenge where you have like two clubs that you can take and
Yeah.
play a hole. I would totally take a five wood and maybe like an 8 iron or something, and I just play with those two clubs.
Do you get to golf when you go out on tour? Do you get to take a break off? And
It's tricky. If we're on a bus, we definitely try to do it, but you can only, if it's a show day, you can only do like 9 holes,
Yeah,
or else
yeah,
you
yeah.
feel like you're worn out.
Is there a place that when you do go on tour, it's like, no, we have to stop and golf here?
Oh man, there's so many places like that. We were playing in where were we? We're in South Carolina. We were passing Augusta, and we
Oh.
went through a town called Aiken. And in Aiken, they have Palmetto Golf Club, and that place has been around since Augusta. And it used to be back in the day where people would go play Palmetto as a warm-up to the Masters. So I got to play that course with my dad and the drummer from ZZ Top, and that was quite an experience.
I can only imagine what that day would have been like.
Oh man, unlike any other day I've ever lived.
Hey, real quick, what do you shoot usually?
Oh man, I'm a 12 handicapper.
Okay.
So I'm not too bad. I'm not too good. I'm right in the middle there.
There you go. I like it. Robin Taylor Zander on the line with me right now. The distance is out now. I know you got to get going and get rolling and stuff. Robin, it was great talking to you. Nice to meet you, and wish you nothing but the best, man.
Thanks for having me. Anytime, man. Thanks.